Good morning or afternoon or whatever it is where you are. I'm making this video to try to clear up some of the confusion that's been going on with what's happened with my channel and what I'm doing now. I'm going to try to be as clear as I can on this video, although I'm not that good at it. The first thing is people start telling me, Scotty, your channel's back up. And I'm like, no, it's not. I didn't put up a channel, right? And this is very confusing. So I goes over and sure enough, there's my name and there's a couple of my videos up there. So I gets a hold of this guy. I'm thinking, well, I'm getting scammed, right? And he says, I send a message and he says he won't talk to me because he doesn't hear well. So everything's got to be done with text, which seems a little sketchy. And so he tells me that, see what it is it was a trucker channel. He's a trucker, this guy Dave. And he had a channel that was getting 10,000 hits a month. And then he got up there and he shot a gun on it. He filmed himself shooting a gun on YouTube. And his channel dropped off to 1,000 views a month. And he just got, he got shadow banned. And he just got really disgruntled and he said, screw the whole YouTube thing. And he just left it sitting there. So he tells me he's got this idea. I can take over it as an admin and I can use it. It's already got 6,000 subscribers, so it can be monetized right away. And I'm like, really, right? Like, am I getting scammed or what? So as I get a couple of friends to send me $1 through the PayPal that he puts up there, and sure enough, it comes to me. It turns out that Dave's legitimate. He's just really disgruntled. He's like, fuck you with these guys. So he says to me, I'm like, well, I don't know about doing this. He says, well, I'll leave your name up here so it keeps anybody else from being able to get it. So I'm like, okay. So in the meantime, I realize I have an old channel and I can use that. And so slowly but surely, I have put my name, I got him to take the name off the other one and put my name on this one, and I've put a few things up there. But I haven't been able to deal with this situation for a while because they took the thing down right after Sturgis. Vita had already bought a ticket to come spend 2 weeks with me out here in Utah, which was a wonderful time. It's going to make a great video. I mean, it was just a wonderful time. After that, I had this motor problem, which I never had one grenade like that before, but I have this beautiful motor in here, so my time's been tied up. So finally, that's starting to mellow out, and I've had time to think about what it is I'm doing. So, okay, so what's happening with the YouTube thing? Why was I taken down, etc., etc.? Well, I have a very influential friend in France who knows a guy who's on the inside of YouTube, works in the legal department. And he got a hold of this guy, and the guy was trying to get my channel put back up. So he's been, letting me know what's been going on with it. So the message he sends me recently is that they're taking down around 300 channels a day. You may have noticed that some of them are going missing, some of the other ones that you may have watched, seemingly almost randomly. My buddy told me that his friend on the inside is ready to quit his fucking job. He's fighting for some of these big channels that were taken down that shouldn't have never been taken down, okay? Mine was taken down. I mean, I said a few political things at the end, but most of you know it wasn't anything compared to some of the other channels, what they talk about. So it seems as though maybe YouTube's purging their memory system, which they rent from Amazon. I'm not sure how all that works. But for whatever reason, they're taking people down like crazy, and they're doing a whole lot of other fucked up shit. And so people are walking around on eggshells. Like, if you've noticed, some of the small channels protested that mine was taken down, but the large ones didn't, because they're afraid of having their channels taken down if they say the wrong thing. So everybody's walking around on eggshells. The Epoch Times newspaper, they're supposed to be real news, I guess. They had like 3 channels or so. They demonetized them. And then what they did was starting putting commercials up there. But the Epoch Times isn't getting any money from the commercials. They're doing some really fucked up shit. And in the words of George Carlin, they don't care about you. They don't give a fuck about you. Okay? These people do not care about us. So what I can do, or what maybe I'm supposed to do, or what a lot of guys do, is they start another channel, and they start putting their stuff up there, and then they be a good little boy. They don't say nothing wrong. They don't do nothing wrong. They just tolerate being censored, and they go on and they monetize it, and they start making a bunch of money for this particular channel, again, right, for these guys to make a bunch of money. But And I know that you guys are interested in convenience, but I have I'm going to tell you something, man. There's other channels. There's other ones. It's not like you only have one. There's these other ones you can go to, and this is the only one that's censored. The other ones are all free speech. But anyways, so that's what could do. Populate this channel and go on and be a good boy. But I have a problem, a serious problem, with selling out my beliefs and my morals for money and fame and convenience. Right? I wish that more of us had that. It seems like it should be a normal thing that everybody has. But anyways, I have a problem with that. So this is what I've decided I'm going to do. I've put up channels on all these other video platforms. Because I'll tell you what, I don't want to turn around and start sucking the dick that just finished fucking me. Okay? So this is what I've decided to do. I'm going to populate all of my stuff. Of course, I still have it all, and this time I'm going to pick and choose through it. So some of the stuff that I don't think's that good, I ain't going to bother putting up. I'm going to put it on all these other channels that you're looking at right here. Now, the one in the bottom left, that one and the one on the bottom right, both have apps for them in the App Store. The one on the bottom left has all of my stuff on it because it was all put up there a long time ago, and it has some new videos. So if you go over there and put my name in, you will find everything I had that I've ever had, plus a few new things. I'm populating the other two as well. So it's going to take time to get all those filled up. You guys are going to have to cut me a little slack on this one. It's got a lot of work. And these are all free speech channels. And as far as YouTube goes, I'm going to populate this too, but this is the one I'm going to pay the least attention to. And rather than try to draw more people to them and make them more money after what they're doing to us these days, I want to draw away from them and maybe take people other places. I think if you go start looking over at these places, you will find that you're going to find stuff that's not on YouTube, because it can't be, because we're being censored, which is directly against the First Amendment of the Constitution, which is laws that are not supposed to be broken in this country ever, so that we don't go back to the tyranny that the people had before they came here and got their freedom. That's what those rules are for. They're not outdated. They're more important today than they ever were before. So hopefully you will subscribe to me over there on some of those. I'm going to have them all populated. I'm working on that now. It's been hard. And I'm going to tell you what, the one on the bottom left is, what do they call it, open source, which means it doesn't have their influence at all. The one on the bottom right there, it just went on the market last year. You know who brought up the majority of the shares? It was BlackRock. But so far I can still find things over there I could never find on YouTube, because it's not allowed to be there. And I have people tell me, they're like, oh, I go over there, I can't figure out how to use it, and I just don't get that. I'm like, there's a search at the top, just like on YouTube. You put in my name or whatever you're searching for, and you push the button, and it comes up. I like the one that's bottom left there. Okay, that's my favorite, because it has all kind of other stuff. I asked Vita recently, I says, what do you watch on YouTube, Vita? She says, I watch non-duality. You ever heard of that? I hadn't. So I puts in non-duality, a whole bunch of it comes up. It's some kind of unusual spiritual stuff that she's into. So she says, I like this one guy. I puts his name in, he comes up. So I asked, what else do you watch? She says, shamanic music. So I puts in shamanic music. A whole bunch of it comes up, man. I put the apps on phones for people sometimes. So I puts it on Chuck's. And I asked Chuck, I said, what do you watch? Chuck, he says, I watch guitar lessons. He's a guitarist. So I put in guitar lessons. A whole bunch comes up. An old woman, I said, what do you watch? She says, Christian music. I put that, there's a whole bunch of Christian stuff over there. So I look at that particular source first before I go anywhere else. I rarely come to YouTube. I'm not going to support my people like this if I can help it. I'm going to support people that are more for us and more on our side. So that's what I'm doing. It's going to take a little time. I've got tons of great new material. I'm going to pay the least attention to YouTube. I don't understand why people insist on only going where they can be censored. I'm never going to understand that. I'm along with Dave the trucker. I'm like, I'm not going to tolerate being censored if there's any way I can help it. a whole lot of your other disgruntled YouTubers are doing other stuff, moving to other places, putting up websites, trying to get away from these guys. These guys have gone power mad because everybody supports them and they think they just have us all by the balls, and I guess they kind of do. But they only do that because people won't go other places enough. But I don't give a fuck. I'm going to try to go over, and I don't need to have everybody watch just to make a living. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to stay true to my heart, true to myself, true to my beliefs, even if it costs me a little bit. And I'll tell you what's interesting. In the past, we were relegated to newspapers and television news, which is easily controlled. Now we have a whole section of the internet that is uncensored. We have more access to uncensored information than ever before in history. But our people refuse to go there. I'm never going to understand that. So a lot of people are in the dark about what's really going on these days. So in any case, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting those things up over there. Everything I have, all my old stuff, when I get that up, I'll do some new. And I may put a little bit on here, but mostly I'm going to try to avoid having to do that too much. So I hope you all subscribe to me on one of those. Give me a little bit of time to get those things up there and get them running. I got a bunch of work ahead of me on that. And I've had a hard time with some of the technical stuff on it. But I've had somebody who's really helped me on that to get these things up and running. Now I've made another video that really gets into the subject considerably more, that I think is really interesting, and it's got quite a bit of work. I've got it almost finished. Hopefully by the time this is up, I'll have that up, and I'll either leave you guys a link, or you can go to that bottom left one, the one where all my stuff's at, and it'll be the first one up there, because I'm going to put that up as soon as I have it done. And it elaborates on stuff, and I think it'll really bring things into focus more. And so with that, you guys, that's what I'm up to. That's what's been happening. I'm not gone at all. I mean, hell, I did the magazines before this, then I did other magazines, and I did Facebook stuff for a long time where I told stories on it. And now these guys, and it's not like I'm going to stop. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to continue to get stuff and bring it to you guys. And I've got some really good material. We just had this motor thing. I made a video about that. And it turned out to be one of the greatest adventures, man. It was a hassle because, you know, who wants to have to go through all that? But what happened was just really fucking cool. And so I'll get that up when I finally get through all this bullshit and can start just making y'all the good stuff again. So with that, I'll see you on the next video. If that other one that I just made's up, I hope you go look at it. Okay? Talk to you next time.